for today is about force and motion. We now begin with our inquiry cycle followed by a skip.
Now Ayush and Vidhi will tell us about the inquiry cycle.
Okay.
Good morning. We will tell you about the inquiry cycle. We saw that all the objects around, that most of the objects around us keep on moving. We wondered what force makes the object move, and we investigated that behind each action there is a force that acts on it.
We explored Newton's three laws of motion.
We discovered that each law applies to all the objects. Thank you.
Now we'll present a small US kit in front of you.
So, Isaac Newton was a great thinker. No other man of his time knew so much about the laws of nature. No other man knew so much about no man understood the reasons of things so well as he. He learned by looking closely and hard study. He was always thinking. Although he was one of the wisest men that ever lived, yet he felt that he knew but very little. The more he learned, the better he saw how much was there still to be learned.
When he was a very old man, he one day said,
I seem to have been only a little boy playing on the seashore. I have amused myself by now finding a smooth pebble or a pretty shell. But the great ocean of truth still lies before me, unknown and unexplored.
It is only the ignorant who think themselves very wise. One day, Sir Isaac Newton was lying on the grass under a tree and thinking. Suddenly, an apple that had gone ripe on its branch fell by his side. How did the apple fall? He asked himself. Did it fall because its branch could no longer hold it? Was his first thought.
But Sir Isaac Newton was not satisfied with this answer. He said, why do all things fall toward the ground? Why should it not fall some other way just as well? He said, why all everything fall toward the ground? Why do they? Because they're heavy. That's not a good reason for them. Just think, why is anything heavy, and why is one thing heavier than another?
When he had once begun to think about this, he had not stopped until he had reasoned all this.
millions of people had seen apples fall. Well, it was for Sir Isaac Newton to ask why they fall. It was always good that he was always curious.
The earth is many millions of times heavier than an apple, so it draws the apple towards it. Millions and millions of times harder than the apple can draw the other way. The earth is millions of times heavier than any object, so it draws every such object towards it. This is why things fall, as we say, towards the earth. Why we know that every object draws every other object, we cannot know why it does so.
We call that gravitation. It is gravitation that causes the apple to fall. It is gravitation that makes things have weight. It is gravitation that keeps everything in the proper places.
What if gravitation did not draw objects towards the earth? What if gravity was not there? To you who's like Isaac Newton are always asking why and how, these questions will give you something to think about.
I am going to explain you Newton's law of motion. Newton's first law of motion states that an object at rest will remain at rest until an unbalanced force is applied. I repeat and demonstrate. An object at rest will remain at rest unless an unbalanced force is applied.
Tung, 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 tung.
Tung, 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 tung. Newton's second law of motion states that force equals to mass into acceleration. I repeat and demonstrate. Force equals to mass into acceleration. Newton's third law of motion, every action has an equal and opposite reaction. I repeat and demonstrate, every action has an equal and opposite reaction.
We will tell you and demonstrate scientific terms and their definitions. Velocity. Velocity is speed in a certain direction. I demonstrate. This object is in velocity.
Inertia is a tendency of an object to resist change in its direction and the speed of its motion. For example, gravity is the force that pulls things towards the center of the earth or any other object that has mass. Oops, this is gravity.
Mass is the amount of matter measured on Earth by its weight. This is a bag. It has mass.
Friction, strength or energy that moves an object. Momentum is the strength or force that keeps something moving.
जो भी चीज उछाले ऊपर क्यों नीचे ही आती कभी नहीं क्या ऊपर जाकर ऊपर ही टिक जाती बहुत खोज की इस रहस्य की तब न्यूटन ने जाना अपनी ओर खींचने की है शक्ति धरा में माना गुरुत्वाकर्षण शक्ति धरा में जन जन को समझाया न्यूटन ने विज्ञान जगत में अपना नाम कमाया ये कविता को लिखा है रविंद्र कुमार जी ने
Je passe devant un cinéma quand je vais à l'école. Je passe devant une église quand je vais à l'école. Je passe devant un café quand je vais à l'école. Je passe devant un musée. Je vais à l'école. Je vais à l'école. Je vais à l'école. Je vais à l'école, il y a la pâte, derrière la pâte, il y a la poste, derrière la poste, il y a la gare, derrière la gare, il y a un zoom, derrière le il y a une école. Quand je vais à l'école, je passe devant un cinéma. Quand je vais à l'école, je passe devant une église. Quand je vais à l'école, je passe devant un café. Quand je vais à l'école, je passe devant un musée. Je vais à l'école, je vais à l'école, je vais à l'école, je vais à l'école.